It's the Unity Reunion Parade, Cookout, Line Dance Party, Backyard, Barbecue, Fish Fry, Vegan Soul, Black Business, Food Truck, Networking, Outdoor, Concert, Music Festival, Celebration of the Year, featuring Tidra Moses, Talib Kweli and Jay Walls, Marsha Ambrosius, Common and Pete Rock. Get tickets now at OhioBlackExpo.com. That's OhioBlackExpo.com.
African Diaspora News Channel will be broadcasting live. Join Phil Scott, Vicky Dillard, and Demetra Kay in C-Bus. Get your tickets today.
Are you a successful entrepreneur or one in training? You've got the vision, but do you have the right partner to build your brand, your team, and your future online and off? At cprfirm.com, we offer expert consulting, financial guidance, and life coaching because we believe in doing life with our clients. After all, what is it for a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Founded by Callan Cash Coleman, we help our clients not only succeed, but plan to retire rich. Your business deserves the best. Start building your legacy today at cprfirm.com.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Make sure you pick up my two books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive-Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs and on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.
I'm usually known as Cinderella around your work.
Biggest misconception about you?
Nothing. It's all true. It's all true. It's all true. If you hear something, believe it. Like sometimes I'm just in it because like I want things, I want money, I want to have fun.
Yeah.
But then there's times where this guy's fine. Yeah. Like I want to have fun. Yeah. One thing about this whole industry is that you shouldn't care. I date mostly like married men, because I don't have that type of time for you.
Oh, yeah.
And you are married, you don't have that type of time for me.
His wife, one day I texted him like 11 o'clock, I'm like, okay. She's like, my husband can't control himself, and you as a woman, you can't. I said, Mama, you can't even speak English, like, I can't even understand, like.
Watch Slay Queen only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. A key location in the history of the transatlantic slave trade and the story of our foundational Black American ancestors. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. We'll visit historic sites like Elmina Castle and Cape Coast, where you'll see with your own eyes what our ancestors endured. You'll also experience modern Ghana, the culture, the people, the food, and the history they carry, giving you a broader understanding of how our story intersects with theirs. If you've ever wanted to deepen your understanding of our history, this is your opportunity. There are 25 spots available, and once those spots are gone, that's it. So don't wait. Secure your spot today by paying a deposit and be part of this unforgettable journey. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
What if I told you there's a news platform made just for us? Unfiltered, unapologetic, telling our stories from Africa and the diaspora. The African Diaspora News Channel app keeps you informed and empowered from wherever you are at any time. Don't just watch, join the movement. Download the app now and stay connected to the news that matters.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream. It is Tuesday. Tuesday, and we trucking along during the week. Hope everything is going good for y'all. Tonight, we're going to talk about these white South Africans that showed up to the shores of America. We're going to play a couple of clips. We've been, people have been putting out the warning about them, saying that's not the people you really want in the United States of America. If you think you have problems with the other ones, oh boy, you really going to possibly have some problems with these that's come over here. So I appreciate everybody coming on in tonight. And I've been seeing lately the folks have been showing up on the streams. I've been paying attention to that. The folks have been showing up. Even on my podcast, they've been kind of showing up as of late. I don't know why y'all over here. I thought y'all had, even though y'all seen it in the wrong context, I thought you had black fatigue. You shouldn't be over here. I'm talking about those who have anti-black racist tendencies. I'm not talking about just people that enjoy the program of any community. Anybody of any community can enjoy the program and appreciate it. And I'm cool with you. But the anti-black racists, no matter where they come from, I'm not cool with you. So if you got fatigue, like I tell people all the time, it's easier for you to pack your bags, get on a plane, and head on back to the good old continent of Europe than it would be for 43 million FBAs to move around. So that's always going to be my suggestion for them. If you're so tired of black people, then pack your bags and then leave. That's just the best way possible. And you don't have to deal with black people at all. I think y'all run yourself in the ground, but you know what? The funny part about that, you so obsessed with black people, even in Europe, you'll be still on the internet trying to scour what we're doing. I don't think you would like to live without us. I've said that too. But all right, ladies and gentlemen. You say Isabella, welcome to who's Isabella? Okay, Isabel. Okay, Isabel Bowler. Sorry, Isabel Bowler. Welcome, Isabel. All right. So we're going to get into that tonight. Just real quick, appreciate everybody downloading the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store. All right, I want to make sure I sound good. And like I said, next month we're going to have the Juneteenth sale, the last sale of the year for the app on the annual subscription like we did in Black History Month. So be on the lookout for that when that comes up. I always say take advantage when we have that. But, hey, you can support anytime, right? Anytime. Ghana trip. We have 17 spots left, 17. Make sure you get on board because many people have always said, when's the next trip? I can literally predict that when people say that. So I'm saying the next trip is in November. It's not during the holiday, so you'll be back November 14th through the 21st, 17 spots left, $199 deposit. Then you just make your payments. And then you good from there, ladies and gentlemen. Be good to see, some of you in Ghana. You never know what team members may show up. Last time it was Wangel and Neo showed up. So we don't know who all going to show up this time, right? So you just never know. So always going to be a surprise what team member may show up. So I can't wait to meet some of you and shake your hand and let's go through the history. Let's look at the history of how some of our brothers and sisters and ancestors, got over here. The transatlantic slave trade was horrible. But if you're here today, if you're typing, if you're chatting, then your ancestors survived it. They survived, the shores of America, survived slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, survived the crack epidemic, survived mass incarceration, survived. And that's why you are here today. So you are a testament of the resilience of your ancestors. So it's good to know what our ancestors been through here in this land, definitely in this land, and also the beginning, where did it start for a lot of them? So that's why, for me, this trip is more so about history for me than anything else, because I want to know, I want to see the history. And anybody who like history like me, you probably want to see that too for yourself. Now, if you're a person that don't want to see that, that's fine. You don't have to see that. But a person like myself, I just want to be there. I want to see what's up, because I've heard a lot of stories that you still feel the spirits in there too. So that probably would be interesting situation. So I'm anxious to see that. So hopefully, 17 more y'all come on with us and we all see that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. After I wrap up, I'll share a quick message because some of y'all have been telling me something about an individual, so I'm gonna talk to y'all on the app about that. So at the end, I'll shut it off and I'll talk to y'all about that on the app. Okay. So as we know, the white South Africans, and I'm gonna talk about another aspect of this on the podcast tonight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. You know what? Why didn't I do this? Hold on. I forgot to add something. Give me a second. I forgot to add something. So y'all know exactly where to go if you don't know where to go. And make sure you subscribe when you get there. Give me a second. There we go. All right, cool. All right, I got that taken care of. All right. So we've been knowing that, there's a bunch of lies that happened about the so-called Afrikaners, white South Africans, to come over here. They lied that, apartheid Afrikaner himself that's in the White House, Elon Musk, which I've been telling black people as of late, don't buy any Tesla. If you want to go buy an electric car, there's other companies you can buy from, all in America, whether it's, Honda sells them, Nissan sells them. You got Ford. All these other companies sell electric cars. If you want to buy an electric car, do not buy a Tesla at this point, because buying a Tesla, would you give money to the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan? Most of you would not. And at this point, giving your money to Elon Musk, sitting up here with Tesla, because that's where you're going to spend the most money at, I would not do that. Unfortunately, this character has X. That's the unfortunate part. And X is one place that it was Twitter, right? It was Twitter for a very, very long time. And, we trying to figure out, what to do even with that platform at times, because that platform, unfortunately, you got to be in certain places. But I just hate that Afrikaner owns that platform, because, he's turned it into the new Stormfront, literally. And that's why when he initially got it, a lot of advertisers backed off of him, because he was up here allowing these people to say any old thing. Right? Now, so they put out this lie that, there's a genocide in South Africa. We know good and well that, what you say? You say you like a Japanese car, they tend to last longer. You're sure right. We know there was a lie. We've been there to South Africa. Those of you, maybe some of you are in the chat right now that when you went to the first time to South Africa with us, with the real South Africa, with Mark and Dr. Latasha Blanton, shout out to them. Maybe you went, and when you went, did you see any genocide when you were there? Did you see any genocide? And that's when the first time we went to Johannesburg and Cape Town, right? I went to Cape Town twice so far. The first time it shocked me, because I was shocked, because all the other African countries I've been to, I've never seen that many white people in one place. I've never seen it before. When I went to Ethiopia, they sprinkle here and there, far and few in between. Kenya, maybe a little more, but they still sprinkle far and few in between. But when I got to doggone Cape Town, I say, where in the hell am I at? Where are these people at? I was like, where they come from? You know, it was so many of them. I've never seen that before in the African continent, right? And so I just kind of saw, I think the first time that bothered me, I think we was with Tuani, and shout out to her. And she said, that's a black-owned business right there. When she said that, I said, what did you just say to me? She said, well, what you mean? I said, what did you just say about the business? Oh, black-owned? I'm like, I said, why are we saying that here? I said, in America, okay, that makes sense. But here, well, you know, the history of apartheid and all that. And I say, yeah, okay. So you know, the place we went to was good and all of that. But I just noticed that when I was in Cape Town, them folks move a lot different than Joburg. They're a little bit more. They ain't the same as like they are in Cape Town. So Cape Town, don't get me wrong, beautiful place. It really is. Nice mountains, nice. You know, the beach is nice. Everything is just. It was nice, you know, and everything. I ended up circling back the following year, taking my family to Joburg, you know, and then Cape Town. My family enjoyed that. We stayed at a different place or whatever. The next time I went to Joburg and Durban. And I was like, oh, I never want to go back to Cape Town. I never want to go back because I just enjoyed Durban. That's up there with the Zulus. And man, I loved it. Unfortunately, I was sick for one good day because I made a mistake eating at the gas station, right? Oh, boy, I'll never forget that. And I never make that mistake again. That's why when I travel now, I travel with all my medications. Oh, I travel with all. You can't get me to not carry my medications with me. They got this medicine they sell over there, these little bitty pills for your stomach. Shoo. When I went to Ethiopia, give me the whole box. I want it. Because them little bitty pills, man, Pepto ain't crap compared to that. So I'm just saying that every time I went, these people there was no genocide on them. So they put out a propaganda. They lied, propaganda. I mean, just straight lying, right? Lying with a straight face, all of them. So then Trump and them come up with talking about, well, let's let them in on refugee status. Now, I thought, and you see at the bottom, what happened to America first? You said you want to get all these immigrants out of here. They spending our tax dollars, all of that, right? You want our money to go into our pockets. We got homeless veterans. We got homeless this, homeless that. But yet you're doing mass deportations here, but now you're bringing in more refugees. And a lot of people who are saying, which in my podcast, you'll see that a lot of the immigrants are upset about that. And I'll talk about that in a whole different podcast. But the fact is they have shown up to America. They're here. Of course, they're going to get a rude awakening. Of course, we know that. But so there's a woman. I think I've actually played one of her videos before. Her name's Bianca, actually out there in South Africa. Shout out to Bianca because I actually spoke with her right after I made that video. She's always speaking up against racism out there in South Africa. So there are some white South Africans who do speak up against, you know, their community about racism. And like I always said, when they speak up against racism, they are attacked. They are ostracized because how dare you speak against our racism? How dare you do that? Once again, that is the culture. It's the culture. And if you go anything outside of the culture, okay, you're going to be attacked if you are a white person. So Bianca had a warning. She wanted Americans to see the video. So that's why I made sure I'm going to show her video among a few others. Let's go ahead and play this video. I want y'all to hear this warning from Bianca here to Americans of what we really imported to our country.
This is for the Americans. If you're not an American, feel free to watch, but please try and get it to the Americans. My name is Bianca van Wyk, born in South Africa, live in South Africa. Today you will be welcoming the so-called white Afrikaans refugees. They are there based on an offer made to them, which I must say was informed by disinformation about South Africa. Now, I've seen a lot of takes on who Americans think they are receiving. Okay, you are not getting successful, professional, white, middle-class South Africans that are fleeing South Africa. The people you are getting are the people that believe that there is discrimination against them based on their race. Keep in mind, we live in the most unequal country in the world. we have, for instance, 70% of agricultural land and agricultural holdings are owned by white South Africans. 62 to 68% of top leadership positions in corporate are filled by white males. There is a huge salary disparity between white South Africans and the rest of the population. And there are a number of other indicators which shows you that this story of discrimination based on race is false. Another thing that I wanted to say is that you will get certain so-called refugees that have experienced crime. However, in South Africa, no one is exempt. These people that you are welcoming assume because they're white, they should not experience crime. The people most affected by crime in South Africa happen to be black people that live in poverty. So as you open your doors and welcome people, and you're going to get a lot of information and disinformation from these people, please do keep that in mind. Oh, I also would like to say all the best and good luck to the Americans.
All right. So thank you, Bianca. So she warned you that you did not get the best of South Africa. The better off white South Africans are still there in South Africa doing what they're doing, right? Now, they are a class of white folks in South Africa that live dirt poor. They don't have anything. They have their own shanty areas too. They have this one brother went over there to one of them, I think in Pretoria. He went over there and filmed them. They were hot that he was filming their poverty. That's the people that's coming over here. Because let's think about it. Why would they want to come over here when they literally got it all handed to them right there in South Africa? They're not going to have the same lifestyle that they would have in South Africa. They won't have it at all. They won't have the docile black folk. I'm sorry, a lot of them docile. I'm just keeping it 100. They're not going to have the docile black folk over here. You got FBAs, and we're not docile, right? They're not going to have their maids and servants and everything else that they normally have. They're going to find out real quick they can't afford that here. They're going to find out. They're going to find out that the U.S. dollar isn't the same in this country like it is outside this country. See, the U.S. dollar is beautiful outside of America, but when you're in it, it's almost like them other currencies throughout the world. Don't do much, right? But the history of America is they've always imported the poor, the criminal, and the ones who have been shiftless. Even coming from Europe, the best of Europe stayed in Europe. Why do you think a lot of Europeans look down on white Americans? Because they know where they come from. They know the people they descended from. They wasn't the best of Europe coming over here because the best of Europe stayed with the king. They didn't have to flee their homeland and talking about, I'm looking for a better life. This is why a lot of them are okay with immigration, because when you look at them folks, all of them are immigrants. So that's why they okay with immigration, because they'll tell you, oh, my grandfather came that way. My grandmother came that way. Or they came from this, they came from that. We're the only group of people in this country can say we're not immigrants. We built this from scratch. There was no country to immigrate to until we built it. And they always trying to link us to, back to the continent from 500 years ago. Like, we haven't even been on the continent for 500 years. Now, we go back and we want to visit or whatever. Some of us have left and moved over there, and that's beautiful. Some of us go back and forth, say, hey, I'll be so many months there. I'll be so many months here in the U.S., and that's beautiful as well. I mean, we do whatever we want to do. We are free people, right? We can go globe-trotting wherever we want to throughout the world, right? But they never bring their best when they come here. That's what Bianca is saying, okay? The landowners. I see a lot of brothers and sisters from South Africa like, hey, y'all leaving. Shoot, leave me them homes and leave me that land. That's not the ones that are leaving. The ones in them white shanty areas, that's the ones that's leaving. Because they say they can't get a job because they're white. Well, what about the black people in South Africa that can't get a job because they're black? See, y'all even saying that crap shows your privilege. Like, just because I'm white, I'm supposed to have a job. I was in South Africa, y'all, last time. They had, I think, 5 jobs. I was sitting there in my hotel room watching this on Newsroom Africa. And they had so many people. They say they had like about 10,000 people show up for 5 jobs. I've never seen that before. I say, what in the world going on here? And it was a lot of black folk. There's some white folks in there, but there's a lot of black folk. There's a lot of black people in South Africa that are unemployed. There's more black unemployment in South Africa than white unemployment. But, we can't get a job because we're white. So the black people, they can't get a job because they black, I guess? Well, what is it? So in countries that has high unemployment and things like that, hey, we love to come to countries like that and say, hey, brother, sister, we can bring you in, we can. And they are appreciative of that when we do that. That's why I'm a firm believer for people in the diaspora. If you're going to go over there, don't be like the immigrants here taken from a country. Go there and actually give something back. But most FBAs give something back. We don't go and just be a leech everywhere we go. We don't do that. FBAs a lot of times create businesses, hire the locals. I'm talking about the ones that really want to expand their businesses, right? Or create something. There's a lot of brothers and sisters in Ghana, for instance. They have created a lot of businesses, have done great things in Ghana. And I want to see some of that because a lot of FBAs over there, right? But we don't go and just take from people. We don't do that. Thank God. We just in a better position. But that BS about they can't get a job because they white, that just goes out the window. What, because you white, you supposed to have a job? And what about the black people? They don't supposed to have one? They supposed to sit there unemployed while you working all the jobs? And then their racism. Then their 10,000 people for 5 jobs. I watched it on TV, brother. I was shocked. To see that. I said, oh my God. Like it's like if I went over there tomorrow to Johannesburg and I wanted to go open up Dorothy's Soul Food, my grandmother's first name. I can go open up Dorothy's Soul Food tomorrow and have a whole staff just like that. It wouldn't be no, I can't find nobody to work. I will get it just like that because they will show up to want to get that job. I promise you that. It won't be, I don't want to do that job. Oh, no. They want it. They got to have it. So, and I tell FBAs all the time, and y'all need to start bringing our FBA cuisine over there to the African continent. Start opening up, get some of them Creole spots open. Louisiana cooking, get that over there. Get the food that we make in Chicago. Get the food we make over there. Wherever we do, bring it over there too. Shoot, it's a lot of opportunities over there, and workers won't be hard for you to find. Because we need to expand that FBA culture, the positivity of FBAs outside this country too. Bringing European countries, Latin American countries, bring that FBA culture everywhere. Shoot, we are a vast culture. We need to expand it globally. See, white folks do that. They expand their stuff globally. You'll see KFC. You'll see McDonald's. You'll see all that in all these different countries. Well, we need to be having our own stuff in other countries too. Staking our claim, being a global people. But that's how I feel about it. I love our homeland. I love my people, but we need to be global. I'm a firm believer of global movement. But with that being said, that the people that they brought over is just not their best. Okay, it's not their best. Now, to show you just something else that's being said. Now, this one sister, when I told you they the same everywhere they go, they are the same. I want you to pay attention to this, what she had to say here. Now, this is South Africa now. This is South Africa, a country that's majority black. Okay, just want to make sure I say that.
I drive past Wood School Linden and I see a board with only white children. And obviously, reasonably, I ask, is this a school where there's only white children? And then I go onto the internet just to confirm, just to make sure. And I see Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C, Exhibit D. Here, there seems to be maybe 1, 2, 3 black children, colored children, but they seem like the minority. And in South Africa, black children and colored children are the majority. Exhibit C. So So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just showing what exists on social media. I'm just curious if anybody has answers or anything interesting to say. I'd really love to hear.
And you know, that little sister right there, shout out to her. She was pointing out an observation. They was attacking her. Oh, why you want to force them to go to school with you? And wait, hold on. See, Black South Africans, come over here. Come talk to your brother. Come on, talk to your brother for a minute. Let me give you some ammunition when they tell you silly stuff like that. You tell them, first of all, this is my homeland. This is mine, okay? You're not from any of the indigenous tribes here of this land. If you feel like you need a school just for Afrikaners, Boers, then you may not really want to be in this country because we outnumber you, okay? So you probably need to go back to the Netherlands. That's where your people are from, the Dutch. They are descendants of the Dutch people, the Netherlands, right? Go to Amsterdam, Holland, wherever you want to go, all those areas. Go over there, okay? That's your homeland. If you don't want to be around us. But you can't tell us where we're not going to go. If we want to see a school, we're going to go to it. And if you say we can't go to it because it's for y'all, then, you know, we're going to have to get that school shut down. It's just that simple. Now they talking about black folks getting in Irania. I support that. Why? They don't need they don't need no enclave in South Africa talking about we're over here by ourselves. Black folks need to start flooding Cape Town too. A lot of y'all need to start flooding Cape Town and let them know, hey, nah, you can't have no enclave here. We didn't y'all, what's that term y'all say in South Africa? Y'all a rainbow nation. Well, we're going to rainbow it up now. Or it's all rainbows around here. No, because when y'all had the whole country, and look what y'all did to us when y'all had the country. So nope, we're going to live all together in peace and happiness and joy because we just want to live in peace. That's it. And we know when you get by yourself, you be planning sin and unrighteousness. We know this. That AfriForum, let me tell y'all about that. Y'all need to shut that down too. Y'all can't let them have nothing, period. Because they had the whole country for hundreds of years, and look what they did to the people. When I was talking to brothers and sisters over there about apartheid, and they talked about that basically the whole country was a sundown town. You know, we talk about sundown town, the whole country. So they had to walk around with a card, right? And they better not catch you out past 6 p.m. And you better have special permission on your card to be out after 6 p.m. during apartheid. Now, the whole country was a sundown town. They better not catch you. You may lose your life, get beat up or thrown in jail, whatever, but that's what's apartheid, a sundown town. So if they had y'all literally under a whole country that's a sundown town, no, you can't have nothing here no more. Not no big enclave. Now, you can live wherever you want to live, it's fine. But you're not going to say, well, it's only for us, because you be plotting, you be planning, you stockpile weapons. Look at the mess that AfriForum has caused. And this is on the ANC. This is y'all fault. Y'all let AfriForum do that, playing games, with going to America, saying this, saying that about y'all country. They're not government officials to be coming to America to discuss anything about South Africa. Y'all should have jailed them the moment they got back and say, you aren't a government official. You don't talk to no foreign governments about this country. No, you violated the law. You're going to jail. And that would shut that mess down a long time ago. So really, ANC, this is your fault. You see, when it comes to FBAs, do you really think if we was 80% of this country, that mess would be going on? In the chat, if FBAs was 80% of this country, do you really think the discrimination and all other stuff we deal with would be going on right now? Knowing how we get down, do you really think that would be happening? Man, them people would be so in check. They'd be nice. Let me tell you what I have seen about them. When they in the minority, they really nice to you and they're not aggressive. But when they get in the majority, that's when they become aggressive. when they get power, they become more aggressive, okay? This is what I've seen. So y'all in South Africa allowing them to be aggressive towards you, I don't understand that. Now, I want y'all to hear something else. There's one sister gonna talk about. Brace yourself for this. Brace yourself. Let me cue this up. Hold on.
Racism, because do you know how extreme your brand of racism has to be for other white people to be like, yo, buddy, you're going to have to bring it down a notch because you're doing too much. I'm Nantle, I'm South African, but I live in Germany. And a couple of years ago, I was doing a German language course and I met a Dutch guy. We get to talking and I tell him that I'm South African and he says, well, that's interesting. And I was like, what's interesting about that? Have you been to South Africa? And he says, no, I haven't, but I have met a couple of South Africans and I did not like a single one of them. So I say, well, that's weird. What's wrong with South Africans? Why don't you like them? And he says, oh, sorry, just to be clear, I've only ever met white South Africans and every single one of them has been misogynistic and racist. And this was coming from a Dutch guy. About 2 or 3 years ago, one of my German friends, white German to be specific, visited South Africa for the first time. So when he comes back, I'm like, so how was South Africa? What did you think of it? Like, how was your experience? And he was like, well, I like South Africa. I think it's very beautiful and generally the people are wonderful. But I was very shocked by the racism. And I'm like, racism? You're white. There's no way. What racism are you talking about? He's like, no, I didn't experience racism, of course, but there was so much racism and it was evident everywhere all the time. Well, he did spend most of his time in Cape Town and other parts of the Western Cape. And he goes on to tell me the story about how he was walking through a park with his wife and his son, and there was a black guy sitting on a bench, and as they approached, the black guy stood up for them, and he was so confused because he was like, why are you standing up for us? And the black guy was like, no, sir, you can sit. And he was like, that was so weird, Nantle. That was so uncomfortable. And you could tell that it is from the racism, the normalized racism in Cape Town.
Okay, let me stop that. You heard what she just said? She said this black South African saw these white folks and just got up out his seat to offer his seat to these white people. Do you really think an FBA would do some crap like that? Let these Afrikaners go pull up on the FBA sitting down and expect him to get up. I wish one of them say, you gonna get up? Like, what? Why don't you make me get up? How about that? Make me get up out of this seat. Boy, these Afrikaners better stay away from the FBAs. Ooh, they better stay away.
Now, just to be very clear, there is no competition for racism or racists. There isn't racism that is too much racism and racism that is like just enough, like just tolerable, or racists that are more preferable than other racists. However, whenever someone asks me about the racism in Germany, as a South African, a black South African who has lived in the United States, who lives in Germany, and who travels the world, I have never met worse racists than whites.
Okay. At the end, she said white South Africans. I don't know why it cut off right there, but because actually I can play that whole part. Let me get to the. Just so somebody say, "Oh, that's not what she said." Let me cue the video back up. I got a whole video. I don't want nobody to accuse me of that's not what she said. Hold on.
Racism, because do you know how extreme your brand of racism has to be for other white people to be like, yo, buddy, you're going to have to bring it down a notch because you're doing. Black South African who has lived in the United States, who lives in Germany, and who travels the world. I have never met worse racists than white South Africans. However, whenever someone asks me about the racism in Germany, as a South African, a black South African who has lived in the United States, who lives in Germany, and who travels the world, I have never met worse racists than white South Africans. African, a black South African who has lived in the United States, who lives in Germany, and who travels the world. I have never met worse racists than white South Africans. African, a black South African who has lived in the United States, who lives in Germany, and who travels the world. I have never met worse racists than white South Africans.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you heard that from her, not from me. Now, a while back, Steve Bannon has said, that, the first time I heard that was actually with Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon said that the worst racists in the world were white South Africans. He said that. That's the first time I ever heard that. I've never heard that before until Steve Bannon, y'all know who Steve Bannon is, said that. Because he has a big issue with Elon Musk. He don't like him. He said he comes from apartheid South Africa. He said that wasn't that long ago. Why is he running around this country getting these contracts, doing this, doing that? He said, no, he needs to go because he said that I'm going to try everything in my power to take him down. That's what Steve Bannon has said about Elon Musk. So I'm like, man, and I made a whole video about Steve Bannon saying that. So the sister saying it too. They are the worst racist. The white people, they own people. When they say it's a Dutch guy, that's their people. They from Dutch descent. So they own people. And you know what? And I shared that email with Naledi. Years ago, I got an email from a woman from the Netherlands. And when I kept saying at that time, they need to go back to the Netherlands, that woman was like, we don't want them. Stop saying that. We don't want them here. Let them stay down there where they at. And the first thing she said was, they are way too racist. That's the first thing out that woman's mouth. And I'm like, man, so, boy, they are not liked like that. And I've heard that about them. I think people in New Zealand was talking about them, too, when they was coming to New Zealand. And people, and the white people in New Zealand said the same thing, say, we don't know what's going on with them. They are hella racist. And so if you having other white people saying that they are way too racist even for us, and listen, we got our racism, but dog, y'all take it too far. All thing I'm saying is, Afrikaners, listen. Leave that mess back in South Africa where you come from. Because you're going to find out real quick about the good old United States of America. That's the only thing I'm telling you. Leave it where it's at. Leave it where it's at. Go to your new life. Go. You say you're going to go farm. You're not going to go farm. You're going to go work on farms. Because what land do you own here? You own no land. So you're going to go farm all right. You're going to go work for the white farmers here. And you're going to see how you got double crossed. I already know. Because see, Trump and them need to fill up them spots on those farms when he kicked out all the Hispanics. That's mostly who's working on those farms with Hispanics. So when they were crying in Nebraska about they don't have no workers anymore because basically ICE been getting them out of there or them dudes been leaving on their own, them white South Africans going to go out there and start working on those farms that's owned by them white people, right? And they're going to start complaining because they're going to see the money's not good. They're going to see they can't afford anything. They're going to see their quality of life is going to go to crap. And they're going to see black folks here is nowhere near the position that what they saw black folks in South Africa. I'm not saying you don't have successful black people in South Africa, but I'm going to tell you what, our unemployment rate is not what it is as FBAs versus black South Africans. FBAs are rich, very rich, compared to any other black country. FBAs are very rich. They're going to see that. And if they racist, they're going to lose their mind how successful FBAs are. Don't let them go to some places like Atlanta or Houston. Oh, my God, they're going to freak out. Then check this out. I was laughing about it. They going to see their little daughters next, going to be trying to chase the brothers. I did watch. They thinking they're going to be trying to get the FBA brothers. That's going to be next too. Watch. You watch, and they're going to be hot. You come all the way over here to go get them over there in South Africa. I kept you away from them. So, yeah, but I got freedom here, and you can't do me nothing because all the laws are on my side here. You can't do me crap. So that's going to happen too. So, yeah, it's just interesting. But what I'm trying to say is they imported anti-black racist, and be on the lookout for that. And if they approach you, just make sure you know where they're coming from. But it's FBAs. We don't care what language they speak. We are already on guard anyway. You have to be. We can't say, oh, well, maybe they're nice and maybe no. You know, I'm not saying you got to be mean to people, but always in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm going to assume you anti-black until you prove otherwise. I'm sorry. I just got to protect myself like that. Because if I let my defenses down and you do something anti-black, then that's on me. Because I know better than that. I have a historical record of why I should be having my defenses up and my wall up and making sure nothing can happen, to me. That's a safety mechanism. It's not even about not liking you. It's a safety mechanism. Well, that's kind of wrong. Well, fix it. In the unjust things you do to FBAs, pay reparations. Get rid of these discriminatory laws, discriminatory lending, discriminatory policing, everything that's discriminatory in this nation, get rid of it and turn the nation to a true equal place, because all FBAs ask for is for equality. They're not asking for superiority. They want just equal with everybody. That's it. So if you don't like that, fix it. Until then, it's not about your feelings. It's about our safety. Bottom line. So, FBAs, we are definitely copied, cosplayed. We see our culture everywhere, okay, all over the globe. And I wish y'all, come travel with us. You'll see it too. Like I said, we're going to Ghana in November. Come to Ghana, you'll see that. You'll see none but FBA culture in places like that. People dressing like FBAs, talking like FBAs. You see our culture, you will see it. It don't matter what somebody say. We are just a global standard, whether people like it or not. It's just bottom line. But, thank y'all for joining us on the stream tonight. I'm going to go ahead and click on to the app. I want to, address something real quick. Make sure y'all come back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you are watching us on the app right now, then just hang on. Then we're going to have this quick discussion about something y'all keep bringing to my attention. So we'll catch y'all tomorrow. Make sure you like.